good to see you today. Over 1 year ago, I was asked if I would be able to be here today. Now, when that invitation came, I had an assumption. I thought that maybe the whole group of people would be old people. And so when Barbara and I arrived this morning and I see many, many young people, I was extra glad that I chose the message for today. Because young people, this is for you. Maybe the older people will listen also. The message comes from the book of Daniel. It may have been early one morning in Jerusalem. Or maybe some other large cities around the country of Israel. And the alarms rang and the trumpets blew that an enemy was approaching. An enemy that wanted to come and absolutely destroy their country. Burn the cities. Kill people. And take people captive as slaves. The armies approached and surrounded the cities. And over a period of time, Nebuchadnezzar's armies were successful in taking the land that they had come. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were among the people that were taken. They were very, very young. They were taken in long lines of captives and slaves toward Babylon. They were not taken through lush, plush jungles. They were taken through the desert. Can you imagine as they saw Babylon coming into sight as they traveled? They must have wondered what was going to happen to them. Would they maybe be taken into an arena and just killed right there in front of the people? Would they be tortured? Would they be placed in certain homes or places as slaves to do whatever the master wanted? Would all of their rights be taken away? These four men must have been praying, they must have been wondering, they must have been pleading with God about what would happen to their lives. Then they were lined up with many, many others. So dignitaries walked the line. And carefully looked at each of them in the eye. Soldiers came and people were pointed out and pulled from the line. They didn't know what it meant to be separated from their other captive friends. And can you imagine to their surprise, they were taken into the king's palace. And they were told that they would not be slaves. They would not be killed or tortured. But they would be given a place of prominence and educated to be leaders in the kingdom. It must have been a huge relief to these 4 Hebrew young men. Because I don't think I need to speak to this group of people about what it's like to come into a new country. I have visited some other countries, but I've never gone to live in a new country. Different language and customs. Different ways of thinking about things. I can only imagine the trauma it would be to have to live in a new country and to try to figure out everything and to fit in. But part of this story is about 4 young men who came to a new country. Who were brought into the king's palace and had to figure out how to fit in, how to learn the customs, how to make sure that they survived. Because if you made the king angry, your life could be over. And so it must be with any of us who move into a new area to live. There are dangers to live in the United States of America. There are dangers of peer pressure. Simply wanting to fit in. There are dangers of teachings that come to us that say, do not believe in the Bible. There is the danger of a culture that does not believe in God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel were all there, and they were being exposed to all of these different things. And the Bible tells us that the very first test came over food. Now let's just think about what was at stake. They could fit in and stay in the king's palace and live quite nicely. Or they could take the risk of defying what the king had put before them and either be killed or sent into abject slavery. I am sure that these 4 men must have prayed to God to show them what to do. Because the test comes is, should we believe what God says or do what's easy to do? Well, you know the story. They rejected the king's food and they asked for simple food. Food that would be consistent with what they knew their God wanted them to do to eat. And the scripture says at the end of Daniel chapter 1 that the 4 youths were brought before King Nebuchadnezzar. And the king tested them. And it was found that they were 10 times better than those. Than those who did not follow God's plan. And so the first test was done. I'm not going to spend much time on the second test because that was over Nebuchadnezzar's dream. This dream he could not remember. Nebuchadnezzar had all of his interpreters come and they say, what does this dream mean? And the interpreter said, well, tell us what the dream is. If you really know if you are really true to what you say you are, you will know what the dream is without me telling you. So he planned to kill all of the soothsayers and the interpreters and the enchanters. But Daniel knew because of God what the dream was and what the dream meant. How is he doing? Is he doing it good? All right, okay. So Nebuchadnezzar interprets the dream. He tells Daniel interprets the dream. He tells Nebuchadnezzar what the dream is and about this image. It is a wonderful dream and it is a wonderful interpretation. And for a while, Nebuchadnezzar honors Daniel for interpreting the dream. But then Nebuchadnezzar decides that he would think about himself instead of what God has said. And he builds a golden image that represents him and rejects what God has said. There are some historians who believe that there had been an attempt on Nebuchadnezzar's life just before this. And they believe that the reason Nebuchadnezzar sets this image up and brings in all of his leadership from all over his kingdom is to have allegiance to him and to him alone. And so I want you to picture, maybe some of you have been to a desert scene. It's very different. Very few plants or trees that are around. Very barren. And the sky is clear and crisp in the morning. And as the sun rose, it must have glistened off of this image that was about 103 feet tall.
The pain in it, where nobody didn't head off. Daughter was 2 minutes with all shut up.
There gathered on the plain of Dura were all the leaders from Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. We don't know where Daniel is here. It's my suspicion Nebuchadnezzar sent him somewhere else that day. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were there. They must have said to themselves, what are we doing here? It's a question each of us should ask ourselves all the time. What am I doing where I am today? Am I here just to fit in? Am I here to serve God? And where do those two meet so that I can honor God and fit in at the same time? Well, the scripture says in Daniel 3, verse 4, and the herald proclaimed aloud. You are commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, and the trigon, you are to bow down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace. What would you have been thinking? If you were one of those three people standing there in the middle, knowing that you're about to be asked to do something, you've been commanded to do something that is wrong. Would it be a temptation to try to disguise what you were going to do? Here's what I mean by that. When the music played, everybody was to fall down. If I had been there, Satan may have tempted me just to stoop down and tie my shoe. He may have said, oh, you had too much pizza last night, and you better lay down and rest yourself while everybody else bows down. Satan may have even tempted me to turn toward Jerusalem and worship in a different direction than the image. To do anything but stand for God. God did not call those three men to fake it or to act like they were doing something else. He called them to stand for God. But the temptation must have been great. Just fit in. So the music plays, and that whole huge group of people quickly bowed down to the golden image. Nobody wanted to be sticking up in the air, because if you were sticking up in the air, someone might say, you're not bowing low enough, I'm going to kill you now. And so it was that the dust cleared and three men stood alone.
wa saga ini we said ora phapla la ba wom de ba bu do ba do the thik ba sa ta.
Have you ever felt all alone?
Tu de blo ko ni me tu ba ko ba la tu de sa ta de ga ta ko si ba.
How many of you here have ever been in Pathfinders or some other group and done any marching?
Wa ta no ora ba na la tu la ma lo ba da la Pathfinder la wa yo sit to sit do.
I can see some of you have. And when you march, it's important that you listen to the drill instructor. When I was a young man, I was in Pathfinders. And every year there was what was called a Pathfinder Fair. And I signed up to be part of the drill team competition. And we practiced marching every week. We knew what column left meant. We knew what column right meant. Right flank, left flank. Staying in step so that we're all together. Listening to the drill instructor. And so at the Pathfinder Fair, there was a large arena. It was outside. And at one side of the arena were bleachers where all the people were sitting. There were quite a few people who were watching the drill team. And it was now our turn. So our drill instructor marched us across the back. And they marched us down the side toward the bleachers. And then he turned us and we were marching parallel to the bleachers right across the front of the arena. And between us and the bleachers was the stand or the table where all of the judges were sitting. But then I did something. I started thinking instead of listening. And we were marching this way. And I was at the front left of our group. And I began to think that he was going to turn us left toward the judges. And he gave the command, column right, march. But I was thinking, column left, march. The entire group except me went right. And I did a sharp left. And within a few steps, I discovered that I was all alone. And I wasn't supposed to be alone. I was supposed to be with a group. It was a very lonely feeling. The three Hebrew worthies must have felt all alone as they stood there. And here's a rule of life that doing what is right will not always be easy. Sometimes doing right is easy. But there are times when doing the right thing simply is not easy. And so there were people who saw the three Hebrews and went running to the king to tell him what had happened. When we do what's right, there will always be people who will be our enemies.
တင်ညာဖဲနမတာတော့ဆက်တော့လောလာလာနေနော်ဒူဒါလာကွာနာတမှုတော့ခေါ်တာနဲ့ဥရထောက်ပါ
And the local people came to the king and said, "Oh, live forever," but there are certain 3 Chaldeans or Hebrews who have not bowed down and worshiped the image that you have set up.
ဒါပဲနေနော်ဘာလဲကွာကမလာကနေဟောတာဆုစပါတော့ဟိတာဆော်တယ်တို့ဒါဘာဟိဘူဘဇာကလည်းကလာနေနော်တော့ဝဲတိပါတတိလောကတော့ဘာတော့ဘာဟောတာနော်
Now, verse 13 says that Nebuchadnezzar was in furious rage.
ဖဲစဘောစီတန်နေတယ်ဝါစဘာဘူကနေစာသာဒူတော့တာဒူတော့ကလေး
Have you ever had your mother get furious with you?
သူမောနော်သူမတာမတာတော့ဒီရန်ဟောဟောစတော့
Or your father?
မင်းမင်းပါ
But just think of somebody furious at you who could end your life in a moment.
ချက်မှုတော့နော်ဘာရကလည်းသူမတာမတာတော့နာလည်းတောက်မှုနဲ့လောကပဲနေသူပါရ
And the scripture says that Nebuchadnezzar had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego brought before him.
ဖဲနေလေစောစစ်စီဝဲတယ်နေဟိလောတာကလူတော့မောရပါဟဲဆောရာမရှာအဒရစပစ်နာကိုဆိုအမညာမဟုတ်
And interestingly, he asked a question: "Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image which I have set up?"
တာစီကွာလောသူ့တော့လောကေရတာချုံမောပဲနေစီဝဲတယ်နေစာဒာမရှာဘက်နာကိုတာကသူလည်းမောဘာရောလဲရေရွာဝဲနေတယ်သူဘာဘာနေမြန်
Is it true?
တော့တက်စက်မေတော့ဝဲနေ
Now, verse 15 is a very important passage in the story.
စဘောစီရနေမြေဝဲတာစဘောတော့လဲရေဒီယိုမှာလဲတက်ခဲ့သူပဲ
Now, if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, and all the instruments that he lists there, and every kind of music, and fall down and worship the golden image which I have made, well and good. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace.
မင်းတင်ညာပါနော်တပြိုဝဒါလာတပြိုဒါဆက်တော်နေနေနော်ငကပါကူတော့အထင်လောက်တော့ဘာတော့တာတော့ပေါ့ပဲလားဒါနဲ့မင်းတပါးနေနေနော်တခီးနေခီးနာဘာခေါ်တော့ကမှာစူတိုင်းစီတော့တင်နေနေမင်းနောင်ရတင်ညာပါ
How many times have we now heard the word immediately?
တိုင်းနေနေနော်သူနာဝတ်တော့လဲဟုတ်တော့ခေါ်တော့
Now 2 times.
ဟိုခဲနေကြတာခီးတော့
The first command said, "If you do not bow down, you will when? Immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace." Is Nebuchadnezzar throwing them immediately into the furnace? He is not. He is giving them a second chance. Oh, young people, this is a wonderful lesson for those of us who love God. It is so important that as we serve God, we do so in a nice and pleasant way. Sometimes I am around people who say they serve God, but they're not nice. Oh, they act like they're martyrs, they act like they're being picked on, and they're angry most of the time. But I think it's very clear here because Nebuchadnezzar is giving them a second chance that Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had served God consistently, and they had done it in a pleasant and wonderful way. If they had been terrible people, Nebuchadnezzar would not want to give them a second chance. But Nebuchadnezzar gives them a second chance because they had been faithful and they had been wonderful people. Now this brings us to the core of the message, verse 16. Nebuchadnezzar had just given them a second chance. And the three worthies now give their answer. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter.
So far, so Sadra, so Meshach, so Abednego, so far, Nebuchadnezzar,
if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods, or worship the golden image that you have set up. The first is a profound statement of faith. God will save us. But there's two parts to this statement. Even if God doesn't do what we want him to do, we will still serve him. Faith is not trying to get God to do what you want him to do. Faith, on the other hand, is accepting God. Faith, on the other hand, is accepting God no matter what happens. Believing in God. Trusting God. Doing what God says. This is true faith. Satan wants to mess up your faith. Satan wants you to not believe what the Bible says. Satan wants you to believe that God did not really create the earth, that something else happened. Satan wants you to believe that obeying God is not an important thing. Satan wants you to think that keeping Sabbath is not important. And Satan wants us to believe that worshiping God in every part of our life is not very important at all. And one of the things that Satan does to try to keep us from having faith is to keep dwelling or thinking of bad things. I know a little of the Korean history. I know enough to understand that much persecution and suffering has taken place. But even if you haven't directly experienced those things, Satan will still bring other bad things into your life. People will treat you badly. They will spread bad rumors about you. They might physically hurt you. They might keep you from having opportunities that you should have. In a refrigerator at home, we have some containers. They're plastic containers. And one of the companies that makes the plastic containers is called Tupperware. That's where you stick food when you have more than for a meal and you want to save it for another meal, right? So you stick it in the refrigerator, and if you're not careful, you don't eat it before it goes bad. If you leave it too long and you open the container, you may not even know that it is in there anymore. The longer it stays in the container, the worse it gets.
တော့အိုလက်တဲ့ဦးဒီရဲ့တော့ဟာကတော့ဒီကလေးဒီအား
Satan wants us to take all the bad things that have happened in our lives and stick them in a container and keep them.
ဘာသာနဲ့ကနေနော်ဘူးကောလေးနဲ့ဘာသာလာပတောင်းလူလာကေပေါ်လာဒီဘာတိဖိုင်းနေဘာသာလည်းပကပါကိကတော့ဟိုတော့ဒီချိုလက်ကတာ
Look inside the container once in a while and think about how bad it is.
အခုနေကွာတော့ကဒါကေပတောင်းဟိုရာတပ်တယ်ဝဲနေနေမေတော့တယ်တယ်
But Jesus calls us to give those bad, terrible, awful things to Him.
ဘာသာပေးနေဆက်စုစီဝဲတယ်တာပြေတော့ဝါတာတော့တဲ့ဘာနေနေနော်ဒီလိုစီဟော
Jesus is someone who looks to the future.
ကစားခရင်နေနော်မေပွားတကလာဟိုတော့တက်အဲ့ပါတာစဘတော့လည်းခဲဝဲ
Jesus looks to healing.
ကစားရှိခရီကွာကူဝဲဒီတော့ကပူဆိုင်ရပါပဲ
Jesus looks to eternity where there is no sin or problems.
ကစားရှိခရီကွာဟောတာစူတာမူလို့ထလို့လဲကွာတက်တဲ့ပါကိုတိဖတ်ကူနေလား
If there is anyone here today who is thinking about what happened in the past,
ဖဲပါလည်းတော့ကလာလည်းဒီမြင်ခဲ့နေတယ်ကိုဝဒါလည်းစမရကိုတာလာကူပြီ
Satan wants to use that to keep your faith in God low or destroyed.
ဖဲနေမှုတော်နေပါတာတော့ဘုကလစဝရာလည်းသူတဆတဲ့နာဝဲနေကရှာမိတိပိကနေလည်းကိတဲ့နေကလောမကတာပဲ
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not go there.
ရှာဒရာမရှာဒအဘိဒနာကိုနေအဝတ်တဲ့တူလက်တော့ဝဲနေမှာ
They did not think about being away from home.
အဝဲတဲ့ချုံမဝရာလည်းကဘာဟာကြီးတွေ့တာဟိကောပါ
They did not think about being captives.
အဝဲတဲ့ချုံမတော့လက်တကပေါ့လက်တကရှော့စူးကြီးကောလာပါ
They only thought about honoring God.
ချုံမရတဲ့ဒီမျိုးနေကိတလာတကပေါ်လဲယူအားဖို့
So they did not, and the king said in a furious rage, "Throw them into the fire."
တော့ဖဲနေတယ်တော့ဝဲတဲ့ဒုနာတော့လည်းခင်းနေစောပါနေနေတော့ဟိလာတာကြီးတော့ဝဲတာမောတာကိုတော့စူးပြီးကဲတယ်နော်
They heated the furnace 7 times hotter than it was.
တော့ဝဲတာမှာကိုတော့ဝဲတာလူစုဝဲနေနေနွိစာလက်ကိုနေပြီးတော့
Now, just picture some of the biggest men you've ever seen, muscles rippling, grabbing these 3 Hebrews and taking them to the fire.
တော့သူဆုံးမပါလို့ဒါနော်လို့ထောက်ထောက်ဝဲတော့ပြီးပါဟီရဝဲတာပါဟိဘူပဲတော့ကိုလောပဲစူး
And the fire is raging.
တော့ဖဲနေမြူနေပြည့်အောင်
And they come close to the opening of the furnace.
တော့ဝဲတဲ့ပါနေတော့ဝဲတာကစားတဲ့တော့ကိုစူး
And they maybe even pick them up and throw them into the fire.
တော့ဘာလို့နေခေါ်ရတော့ကိုလောပဲတော့စူးကဲဖား
As soon as they do that, the men who take them there, the soldiers, are killed.
တူလာပဲဝဲတဲ့ကိုရဝဲနေနော်ကိုလာပါနေလည်းကိုလာဘူးဝင်ပြည့်အောင်တော့ကိုခေါ်ကြတာဒီကလာ
And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fly through the air for a few feet, and all of a sudden something really wonderful occurs to them.
တော့ဘယ်နဲ့ရှာတာဘယ်နဲ့ကိုဝဲနေနော်ဆိုတော့လာတော့သူဖတ်တော့နေမြင်တယ်နေတော့ဘာမှမကလည်းကြတော့တာဝဲတဲ့
They're alive.
အဝဲတဲ့စီဝါနာဘူးလား
And they stand up.
အဝဲတဲ့ဆက်တော့
If you'd been Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, would you have smiled at each other a little bit?
တော့ဘယ်နဲ့သူကပြေကွာအရှာမီလာတော့ဆောက်တဲ့နာကိုနေနော်သူကသူကွာတာသူနေမြင်ရတယ်
The flames roaring all around them.
တော့ဘယ်နဲ့နော်အမျိုးလာတဲ့ဘာအောက်ပေါ်တာဝဲတဲ့ကွာ
The heat.
ကို
And there they were standing.
ဘာသာနဲ့ဝဲတဲ့ချက်တော့တာ
Now Nebuchadnezzar is sitting on his throne.
ဘယ်နဲ့ဆိုတော့ဘူးနဲ့စစ်တော့လာတော့ဆိုပါကောလား
And he's looking into the fiery furnace, very happy with himself. Those who have challenged his authority are no longer alive. He thinks he's had a great victory. And he looks into the fire, and all of a sudden, his face goes pale. He looks and he looks. And he says to his assistant, "Did we not throw 3 people in?" And the assistant said, "Yes, O king, nobody else wanted to go." And the king says, "But I see a 4th."
Pasal kesabaran sibadi lah, jadi bawa ului kan.
And he looks like the Son of God.
Jangan ini dia dah kuat wala bagala, jual kuat.
How in the world did Nebuchadnezzar know what the Son of God looked like?
Jadi cuma sebab tu kita sekarang ini, awatnya jual kuat orang, awatnya ada.
We have artists now today who paint pictures of what maybe Jesus looked like. Right here in the Berrien Springs area, Nathan Green, a famous Adventist artist, paints pictures that look like Jesus, huh? And he studies and carefully paints these pictures so that we can try to understand something about Jesus. But Nathan Green and other artists have not seen Jesus. How did Nebuchadnezzar know? Here's what I believe. Day after day, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had served the king. They'd come in and out of his palace court. And Jesus had shone through those men of God. The experience of dealing with godly people had shown Nebuchadnezzar what Jesus was like. So Nebuchadnezzar had them come out of the fire. They may have asked themselves earlier in the day, what am I doing here? Because who was that great throng of people looking at when this drama was unfolding? You think they were gazing at the golden image? Oh man, look at that great image. You think they were having a sidebar conference where they were talking about something else? No, I believe that everyone in that great congregation, that must have been thousands of different people, were watching the drama unfold with God's free men. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego discovered why they were there today. They were there for people to watch them go through the fire. I'm going to ask you, what kind of a fire are you going through? Is it a financial fire? Is it a fire of health, where your health is now damaged? Is it a fire of relationships, where relationships are damaged? Do you have family in another part of the world that are suffering? Has there been a death in your family? Because the simple reality is that you either have, are, or will go through the fire in your life. And there is a couple of options that you have when you go through the fire.
တော့အဲ့ဒီနဲ့တက်တော့ကြည့်လို့ဆက်နေခါလာဒီကဘာတော့ခေါ်တော့တာမျိုးဦးကဲပါလို့ပဲ
You can let loose of God and turn your back on Him.
တော့ဒီမိဘကွာဝဲနေနေနော်ခါတော့ဒီပြတာပဲဟိုဒါဒီတော့မင်းက
Or you can hold on to God through the fire, and He will use you as a witness to others.
မင်းကောင်းနေနေတော့သူ့တော်မျိုးဟိုတော်မျိုးဝဲနေနေတော့လည်းခိတဲ့ကဆိုင်ကလည်းသူ့ဝဲရလာတယ်ဒီလက်နဲ့မာလာလာပေါ့
Because Nebuchadnezzar says in verse 28, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants, who trusted him, and set at naught the king's command. Verse 28, chapter 3. Now, all over this wonderful auditorium, there are groups of people from around the country. There are some pastors here that are representing those groups. There are other adult leaders who are representing those groups. In just a few moments, we're going to sing our closing song. And I am going to ask that those leaders from your different parts of the country will come to the front. And then, during the song, I'm going to ask young people, for you in particular, both young men and young women, are you willing to be a Shadrach, a Meshach, and an Abednego? Are you willing to commit your life of service? Now, I'm going to ask for 3 specific things within the church service, and I'm going to ask for 1 outside church service. God is looking for young men and young women who will serve Him in ministry. Who will be instruments in His hand to bring people to Jesus and to preach the message that we have. God is asking for young men and young women who will be willing to be teachers. And you know what else the church needs? Are people who are accountants who can do financial management. You can go to school and become an accomplished accountant and make much more money serving a company outside the church. But God needs people within His church to handle His sacred money in appropriate ways. But God has not called everybody to be a ministry, a teacher, or a treasurer in accountants. God has given each of you special gifts that you can use for your life work. It may be in medicine and law, it may be in the service industry, it may be a mechanic, it may be any number of different things that God calls you to do.
But they give me what I said, Poka, we're closing me on in the land, a lot of the dog. But I get the meal the dog in the end, because I got Bata, I think of my dad.
And if you feel that God is calling you to any number of other occupations that are not directly tied to the church, will you commit in that occupation to be His servant also?
Because I me corner, let the Mata Pitama, Basatan get the main, the block or Suda Pova, Copulata Pitama, who got the Pacific. Me ordinary, me to all of the Latica Mark, Sayata in Panisico.
So I believe that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire.
The pain in the Yanabola, Penisa, some Shas of Vedanago, Harago, and Mubu.
Nebuchadnezzar proclaimed their God is the right God.
Pain in the end of Saban, who is up, what in your take out of Mila, Nejuan, and Emilio, let me talk.
All those thousands of people who watched this drama unfold knew who the right God was.
So pain in the Pagamu, Pakel, and Tina, or Banino, you are let me down a million.
And you just know that on the way back home, the three worthies were talking together. Meshach, yes, Abednego. Aren't you glad that we stood for what was right? Shadrach, just think of how fearful it was. We went into the fire, but because we stood for God, He stood next to us. Are you willing, young people, to stand for God? As we sing our closing song, pastors and leaders, please come to the front. And young people, if you feel the call of God in some of these different areas, and even if it's not specifically, that you will still serve God, even if your occupation isn't tied directly to the church, I invite you to join us here. One change. I don't think this area is big enough. I think we need to come up on plate. Let's now sing our closing song.